We are back with Ask the Attorney, and we've got Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm in Clarksville, and we've already gotten lots of questions, family law, some yes, bankruptcy, mortgage questions, all kinds of things.
Glad to answer them. Just keep calling.
All right, and call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737 plus 737-7587. Let's take a few more calls here. We've got Linda. Hi, Linda.
Hi. I called before, but I didn't really get the chance to explain that an attorney won't take this case. This is the person that defaulted on the judgment because the amount in question is too small. And what I wanted to know is the person in this case filed a notice of exemption, and I will ask for his tax records. But you said something about Social Security that I didn't quite hear. It had to do with getting his number. I don't know how to do that. Now, the one instance where I had a record of somebody else filing an asset subpoena, it was quashed. Is there any other reason that he could quash it other than him just coming through with the money?
Well, that's a good point. And remember, creative lawyers will come up with every kind of reason. And if this gentleman's got a lawyer, well, then these lawyers are going to research and they're going to come up with some ideas why it's too broad. We need protection under this. And remember, they can file a bankruptcy, and that stays all the proceedings for collection and whatnot. And again, that asset subpoena, you can hit them and then you can hit them again. Sometimes if it's minor, as you say, where another lawyer didn't want to get involved, then you're just going to have to pursue it the best you can and see if that won't get it settled.
All right.
Thank you, Linda.
Tammy here. Hey, Tammy.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I have called before too, but not tonight. But I have two parts. One's very simple. One's a little more intricate. These are concerning dissolution of a small corporation.
Okay.
The easy one is, does a marital divorce automatically end the corporation?
The answer is no.
Okay. The hard one is, what are green books? You mentioned green books before.
Well, and I think earlier tonight I may say you get the green card.
Yeah.
If someone files bankruptcy, then you're going to get the notice they have filed bankruptcy. You can't move forward, and that's kind of a term that the lawyers use at our office. And many times I can stop lawsuits that I'll tell the other lawyer. I say, look, Amy doesn't have any assets. You can file, you can do all this work a year later, and you're going to get a green card. And then they're looking, they're saying, just leave Amy alone. Now, on the corporate books, you know, if you do have a corporation, subchapter S, L, you're supposed to keep some records, business records. With that, some people just file, and that's the end. They don't ever do anything until they get sued. And then you're sued. They come in and they say, we want to see your records. So I'd talk to your corporate lawyer, whoever set up your corporation, and say, are we doing everything we're supposed? You have to file annually and stay on. And if you don't pay that little fee, it'll dissolve your corporation.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you have to file with the Secretary of State's office.
Yes.
Too. All right, we've got Charles here. Hi, Charles.
Yes, but yeah, I got a question about it. I am permanently disabled. Can you hear me?
I
Yes,
can hear
we
you,
got
and
you.
you may want to turn down the volume on your TV set. We may be getting a little bit of feedback.
Hey, I got you on mute now. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm on permanent disability. Okay, I've got choices program for my home health care. Okay, but I got a member group for my insurance and everything. But what it is I had a caregiver that somehow or another, somebody knocked me out my driveway. I got a big scar above my eye. Somebody took my wallet and my cards, took my whole Social Security check this month.
Wow.
Beginning of the month, I got a report with the police department. The police has been doing a wonderful job. And you can't say anything negative about the police, but they've been doing wonderful. They done found the suspect from pictures from the Walmart, but they have it arrested. But it was my caregiver that's been working in my house the whole time.
Wow.
My question is there any way, what rights do I have with this agency? They're saying they're not liable for anything that happens.
That's a good question. And again, whenever we start doing business with a company, that's a good thing to have a good understanding. Are y'all responsible, or is this an independent contractor that you're sending into my home because, okay, now I'll do business with your company, but I'm not ready to bring anybody off the street and let them in my home. So that's a problem, and yes, that company does have a problem. I would submit to you they've at least been implied that they're over it. That creates an agency called respondeat superior, meaning that the employer is responsible. Somewhere in your contract, there may be some small language.
Yeah, maybe intentional acts or something like that.
Come in, or they'll just say they're an independent contractor and they do their own thing. Listen to this, Amy. I went to the Candlelight Ball. This is several years ago, and they said, valet, Mr. Kenny. I said, that'd be fine. Valet parking. They took it. I came back. They slid something under my door, and they said, we wrecked your truck at valet. I said, no. So I go down there, and they said, don't worry about a thing. Plenty of insurance. Just get your card, and we'll go. I said, okay. And so I make the claim the next day against this major hotel, and they said, we don't control that. Those guys are from Cuba down there, and so you need to sue those guys for wrecking. And I said, no, throw on the brakes. We did business with this major chain. And so the head man called me and said, I looked you up on the internet, Mr. Kennedy, and we're going to take care of that problem. I said, well, thank you so much. But they're going to push me on out the door. You have to stand up for your rights. And if you don't, and if I'd waited a little while, lashes, you sit on your rights, you lose out.
All right.
Proactive.
Cindy, how can we help you tonight?
Yes, I have several things I wanted to ask you. I have recently, my house got on fire in like January of 2015.
Okay.
I had a contractor come in and do some work. With the insurance claim was $37,000.
Gotcha.
And the work that was done, most of it wasn't done correctly, but after they left, some of the other signs of things were worsening in the house, and then some of the things that they did was bad work. So they were supposed to have like a 1-year warranty. So the whole year, this contractor, I was dating that contractor at the time, and he kept saying he was going to come in and finish the work, and the work that was done just kept getting worse and worse, and he didn't. So I'm a real estate agent. I kept trying to collect, try to either get the money to fix the problem or get what was finished not finished.
Yes.
Well, he kept saying he was going to do it. Well, I ended up having to do a countersuit because I'm a single mom with 3 children, and I can't really afford, attorney fees. They said if you do the countersuit, then you don't have to hire an attorney. Then we went to court, and so since they're an LLC, he has to hire an attorney, and then I have to file papers in Nashville. Well, since then, he has signed a harassment suit.
Oh, man.
Saying that he didn't speak to me after he filed the suit, and he has.
Well, let me stop you and say right there, that is so typical of when a fire happens, you need to go in and get your own adjusters. The insurance company is going to get their adjusters. Then we get into this critical point. Do we use the insurance recommendation? And you should have somebody with you. Go in and talk to your agent and say, are y'all going to cover all of these? A good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding. We hear every day people with these same problems. The contractor said they were going to fix this and they didn't. Contractor said they're going to come back and this contractor, yours, wow, you try to make a claim, the next thing you know, he's trying to get a criminal warrant because you're harassing him.
And that's sort of the uneven playing field that can happen in general sessions when the other party is an LLC or some type of entity. Excellent.
So again, you should always talk to a lawyer. If anybody has a fire tonight, go talk to a lawyer and let's do some recording. A little advice from the lawyer can help prevent all these problems that we agonize over years later, and you can get ripped off.
And maybe if you qualify legal aid or another organization will be able to help you
I had to
on
deal
a pro
with
bono
this.
basis.
I've had several fires over the years, and so I say, oh brother, here we go.
Right. We've got James here. Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
Good. How can we help you today?
I have it's my uncle. He's elderly. He has a situation where his son took guardianship of his mother but he didn't take guardianship of my uncle. And according to the state of Indiana, the wife and the son is the only people that are supposed to let the court know that they have any other relatives.
Okay.
And so his mother has dementia.
Right.
So he took over his legal guardian. So they never told the state that he had any other relatives. And so a guardian company has picked him up.
Yeah. Well, here's one of the things that comes out of that situation. People say, well, here's the only children. Well, then here's some other children that come up. You can never intentionally mislead a court. You cannot sign a petition. You cannot sign an affidavit that you know is wrong. And it's really dangerous because somebody's going to come back and say, well, here's the 3 children. We really have a brother, but we don't know anything about him, where he's at. So these 3, well, guess what? He's going to come back someday and say fraud, misrepresentation, and there you are. He'll go get a grand jury indictment, and the next thing you're arrested, paying a bond, and you say what happened. So be real careful. Always be honest in your statements you're pleading, and because that'll create a major problem, and it is a felony to try to commit fraud.
Right. Marion, how can we help you tonight?
Hello, Amy and Kevin. How are you?
Great.
Good. How are you?
Thank you for calling.
It's a pleasure. I have a question. 16 years ago, I filed for divorce. And in my divorce, it says that if you're married 12 years or more, you're entitled to a portion of the retirement.
Okay.
Well, in my papers, it's 40%.
All right.
Well, he remarried. Now they're separated, and is she also entitled to a portion? Will I get bumped, or how does that work?
Okay, usually when your final decree goes down and you're saying you're getting 40% of his military retirement for that number of years that you were married, you will get that. Now, can the new wife make a claim on that other? Under the military law, if it's a military retirement, only 50% can go, so she may be entitled to the 10%. But here's the point. He could say, look, I want out of this. I'll give you 10% of that, and I'm going to give you $1,000 a month alimony. That's what I'm saying again. He can give away more than he's legally obligated to do to get the divorce. And so, no, it shouldn't affect your percentage, but the government's really never going to take more than 50, but he could even give more than that and call it whatever he wants to call it.
Right. We've got Suzanne here, I believe, or Suzanne.
Yes.
Hi.
My sister and I are wanting to sell our parents' house.
Okay.
They are both deceased, and nothing has been probated. Do we need to do something before we
Yes.
get a contract to sell the house? Or
Yes. When someone dies, then, you know, if we have a will, we have to probate the will. If there is no will, we'd have to go with intestate. And that's a probation that, it's a situation when you go that you have to file your petition. We are the heirs. Then you have to get a court order that would vest you with that property. Then you could sign a deed from that because it actually comes back and vests into you and your sister. That's what gives y'all the right to go ahead and sell it. Okay?
All right. Good, quick answer there. We got Danny here. Hi, Danny.
Yes, ma'am. My ex-wife fell down at work in December in the wintertime and cracked her skull. And we went to Vanderbilt walk-in clinic, and the guy checked her out and everything and told her that this is going to be like a football injury, and she's had headaches ever since, and I don't think the place where she worked is going to let her go back on them and pay for it. But if it's lifetime, if the guy gave her a lifetime football injury on it and they're still having headaches, it looked like to me that they would have to pay for the visits to the doctor.
All right, I'll address that. In Tennessee, what you have is a slip and fall. Just because you fall on Amy's house over there doesn't mean she's really responsible. Now, we have to prove there's some negligence. If we went to Walmart and they spilled everything on the floor, we also have to prove they knew or should have known that that was out there. And if we can prove that, and that I fell because of their negligence, and I have damages, which you've already got the point, she has damages, and they're significant damages, then you've got a case. And she turns around and says, well, look, I don't remember what I fell on, I just fell over my feet. Nothing. If you fell over something that they knew was there, and then can you prove that they knew it? For instance, you said to the manager, hey, golly, y'all busted Crisco over here in aisle 4, and then 30 minutes later somebody fell, and they could, well, yes, I told the manager.
They were
wow,
on notice.
We got a home run, throw the ball, bam, and there we go, and we'll get it settled. But then we have problems because most people don't have those. And the stores will always say, you better be careful, don't make a lot of statements because it makes the company take on liability.
All right. Got Gary here. Hi, Gary.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I bought some drywall,
okay,
sheetrock for my home, and I put it up, and I did some more work on the house through the winter, and I go back up there last summer, and all the drywall that I had put up is covered in mold. I mean, and even the stuff that I did not put up. Now, there's drywall that has been in that house since 1973 that was not affected by the mold.
Wow.
And the people I bought the sheetrock from are disclaiming any,
Yes.
So,
what you'd have to have.
What's my option on this? Have I waited too long?
Well, here's the situation. It's kind of like a material breach with a property contract that you bought this. Did they represent that this material would be mold-free? Obviously, me and you think there's a problem. It was either damp or it had gotten damp, and we didn't detect that. So you're probably going to have to get an expert to come in if they can determine that that was moisture that was inside there, and that would create the mold, and that they should not have sold it. It was a defective product. It's a hard stretch. It doesn't make sense if other parts of the room had no mold, and that had mold. We know there's a problem. I would certainly make an insurance claim. Try to find you an expert that would go and give you some estimates and say, yes, it must come down. How much does it cost to remove it? And really, they take on a lot of risk because that mold can make someone sick, and now we're into a personal injury with a 1-year statute.
Yeah. All right, well, we've got plenty more questions to take, but keep those questions coming at 737+, 737-7587, and we'll be back with Kevin Kennedy after this.